Hello and welcome to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. This is Stefan, your host, British by birth, American by choice. The Founding Fathers crafted some remarkable documents that led to the creation of a great country founded on liberty and self-reliance. I have lived in the Euro-socialist nightmare, and I'm doing what I can to return this country to the vision that the Founding Fathers gave us. We need to strive to rebuild that shining city on the hill, for without us, the world has nowhere to turn for freedom. For the next hour, I will be presenting news, views, and guests that help keep the true spirit of America alive. And good evening, folks. Here we are again. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, welcoming you to another show of Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, episode 322. Boy, that's a big number. Never thought I'd get up to this number, but we've still got a very big fight to fight, and so I'm going to continue to fight that. And especially this last week, so much going on since we last spoke. Riots at Trump rallies again. Turns out that these are all paid rioters. Go to Craigslist and you can see you get paid $15 an hour plus travel costs, including hotels and meals. Hotels and meals to come and riot for $15 an hour? Well, at least they're paying the minimum wage that Sanders wants to introduce. The IG report on the email server, right, from the State Department, coming out and absolutely damning the Secretary of State at the time. Basically, no excuse, saying broke all the rules, didn't ask the permission. I mean, just unbelievable. Do we hear anything about it? Nope, not at all. Folks, I've got more examples where we're just going to show the regressives are just so unbelievably hypocritical that it really does. It just sickens me all the time. And folks, we've got to do something to change it. And is Donald going to be able to change everything? I doubt it. But let's at least give him a chance to change it. Because if we let the wicked witch in, there is going to be no way that anything will change. It is just asking for another 4 or 8. Well, hopefully not 8, but even just another 4 years of Obama's policies and just boring this country into the ground. Unbelievable. Now, before we start talking about some of these things that have really riled me and got my blood boiling again, I was hoping that I could get away from blood boiling topics, but it doesn't look like it. Something I talked about last week, the TSA summer meltdown, and you may remember I said I've been thinking for a while, but the last week's reinforces my idea that the TSA are deliberately inconveniencing everyone in order to garner more budget, just like King Barry did when the government was shut down and he closed the national parks. The regressives realize they get their way if they inconvenience we the people. Well, now I have even more proof. I was watching an interview recently of the CEO of United Airlines, and he mentioned something that I hadn't even thought of, but is a very valid point. And he actually said, how come this summer things are so much worse while the numbers of travellers from last year have not increased significantly? So what he's saying, why is it all of a sudden a problem this year when it wasn't last year? very good point. And to be honest, the screening per person is not any more thorough and slow. But overall, there are less lanes open. And when something happens, for example, if a bag needs secondary screening, in other words, the guy sitting behind the TV screen decides there's something he doesn't like, it takes forever before anyone takes action. That I've personally noticed as a difference. So, is that deliberate? I think it is. I think the regime is using your discomfort to extort more money from us, taxpayers. In other words, blackmail. Now, last week I mentioned I had some, from an article, somebody was suggesting some ideas how to make airport security more efficient, cost-effective, and safer for us. Yeah, as if TSA would do something useful. Well, no. But let's just dream. Let's just suppose some of these things could happen. So this writer suggested eliminate most of the liquids restrictions and shoe removal rules. Security experts have long argued the uselessness of the liquids prohibitions, and the shoe thing, which is not a policy across Europe and most of Asia, is almost as ineffective. Also, and this is one that I mentioned earlier that I've personally seen happening, is eliminating the bag check protocol that it calls for the entire security line to come to a stop every time an item in somebody's luggage requires a second look. They should have a way of keeping people moving through. Some of the airports have that, but at a certain point it does back up. Right? And of the millions of such items detected in the past 15 years, not one has hurt anybody. And that's probably true, because all the guns and everything went through anyway. But the writer suggested pull the bag aside for inspection separately and keep the line moving. Like I said, there are some airports where that happens, there are some not. Let's get past our silly infatuation with pointy objects and other non-weapons. Confiscating hobby tools and toys takes time and money, yet does nothing to make us safer. The focus should be on explosives, or perhaps more importantly, on people who might use explosive. And that's a key one, because we still don't know what happened to the Egypt Air flight, and that could be something like that. Take a percentage of screeners now working at airport checkpoints and retrain them to work away from public view, inspecting luggage and cargo, because that's really where the danger is. That may be what happened to Egypt Air. The real job of protecting planes from terrorists doesn't belong to concourse screeners. It happens backstage, with the TSA, FBI, and intelligence entities working together to break up plots and capture suspects before they even get to the airport. Once a terrorist reaches the terminal, chances are that he or she has figured out a way to skirt whatever safeguards we have in place. And how about this one? Would it be crazy to advocate that certain travelers, at a TSA spotter's discretion, be exempt from screening altogether? Personnel could be trained to choose certain passengers deemed lowest threat and pull them out of line and just allow them to go straight through. Probably very good point to start with this would be pre-check qualified people. Get that pre-check line moving very quickly. Need less people in the pre-check line. You can devote more to the non-pre-check people. And then they also suggest deploy more people, more TSA people overseas to protect US-bound aircraft, because you can't trust the locals to do a thorough check on everything. And finally, let's improve our hardware. The writer talked about making connection at the Dubai airport, and security screening took more no more than about 25 seconds because it was the design, layout of the checkpoint. The luggage belts were big and wide, the bins were big and wide, the X-ray machines were big and wide, and on the backside, when they came out of the X-ray, the conveyors and tables were big and wide. There was room to maneuver, room to organize your stuff, and the bags went more quickly through the scanners. That just makes everything move faster and more smoothly. A lot of the time, the writer says our checkpoints are claustrophobic, cumbersome, jury-rigged jumbles of card tables, trash receptacles overflowing with water bottles, etc. And I agree. The trouble is that we don't have too much security per se, it's that we have too much security in the wrong places. The solution isn't pouring more and more money into a defective strategy, which is exactly what TSA is trying to persuade us to do. It's changing that strategy. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. Yes, thank you, writer. That is exactly what we need. Anyway, folks, let's move on. Let's see what the left are saying about Trump in November. Yes, even the left seem to believe that Trump will win in November. Coming from from Politico magazine, which is not your most right-wing magazine by any means. 12 signs that Trump will win the White House. And so he says to the left-wing readers of Politico, think that Donald can't possibly become president? Here's how it could happen. Sign number 1, Bernie Sanders keeps winning primaries while Trump eggs him on. Well, I believe that tonight that's kind of come to a little bit of an end. I think Hillary did, while Sanders won a few, Hillary probably won more of the primaries, so she will be crowing tonight. I didn't watch her speech. I wanted to avoid that. Sign number 2, never Hillary takes off. That's been trending up pretty well, so that may happen. Sign number 3, no other prominent Republican is accused of conspiring in the Kennedy assassination. Well, that may be true, that might be a sign, but I don't think that's the truth. There are many prominent Republicans that seem to have a connection to that assassination that people don't like to talk about. And where are we now? You know what? Let's finish this off. Sign number 4, Trump hires campaign veterans. Also done. Sign number 5, the third-party effort languishes. Well, their candidate just said he's not going to run. The only one they had, some sort of no-name writer or something that nobody knew about. Now we come to the serious ones. Sign number 6, Trump targets the Rust Belt. He can steal a lot of union and blue-collar workers there who would normally vote Democrat. That would be a very good thing. Sign number 7, Trump's vice presidential pick is not a complete mismanaged disaster. Hopefully not. We'll have to wait for that one. Sign number 8, Hillary Clinton stays the course and continues to do what she's doing, which is screaming at people, which is trying to duck her email. If that doesn't change, that's not going to help her. Sign number 9, the email scandal grows. Or maybe the mainstream media takes Juanita Broaddrick seriously. And why they don't do that, I don't know. That's because they've been told not to, obviously. The email scandal is growing. Look at the IG report. Sign number 10, we'll have to wait a bit for, but is a very good one. Trump overperforms in the first debate with Clinton. Well, if Trump can do that, remember, we all thought Romney was really going to beat Obama handily because of his debate performance. and then next debate he fell flat. So if Trump can overperform in the first and continue to overperform, he'll be in with a good chance. Sign number 11. Hey lefties, polls showing Michigan or Pennsylvania in play, which they already do. Warning. And then close to the election, the writer here actually said election week, but I think it might be a little bit earlier than that. Sign 12. Somebody, Ivanka, changes Trump's Twitter account password, and she doesn't tell him what the new one is. Well, yes, he is a little outspoken on Twitter, so that might be a good thing. Anyway, folks, I'm late for a commercial, so stick around. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You can lose 10, 20, 30 pounds or more with Maximum Slim's first ever rapid weight loss guarantee. Today, you get Maximum Slim, an advanced fat and carb blocker, absolutely risk-free. The all-natural ingredients in Maximum Slim are a powerful weight loss combination. The Maximum Slim formula turns your body into a fat-burning furnace that supercharges your weight loss. Advanced fat and carb blocker stops the breakdown of sugar so your body doesn't store it as fat. Today, you'll get both of these products absolutely risk-free with no obligation. Only pay shipping. There are no expensive meal plans or exhausting DVDs. Just take Maximum Slim twice a day. It's fast, simple, and now it's guaranteed. Look, you can start losing weight today or not. Go back to your high school days and wear your favorite jeans again. Guaranteed. Call now and get both weight loss formulas free. Call 800-451-0228. 800-451-0228. That's 800-451-0228.
Doc, you gotta give it to me straight.
All right.
'Cause I'm dying here. I mean, take a look at this letter from the IRS.
Oh, my.
This is killing me, Doc. I tell you, it's killing me.
Cheer up, my friend.
Huh?
The tax doctor is here. My diagnosis tells me that you're going to be just fine.
Really?
The tax doctor will not rest until we find you the best possible tax settlement.
Really, Doc?
Guaranteed.
If the IRS claims you owe them $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes, call a tax doctor right now. We could save you up to 75% if you qualify. Guaranteed or you pay nothing. Call right now for free details.
800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. That's 800-917-8546.
Do you have pain from arthritis in your knees? It's no wonder. Osteoarthritis affects 1 in 2 adults. That's 50% of us in our lifetime will suffer from arthritis knee pain. If you're covered by Medicare or within 90 days of turning 65, we can help relieve your knee pain. Call right now and see how you can get a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. 800-296-1257. 800-296-1257. At the Health Alert Hotline, we have consultants ready to help you learn how an easy-to-wear knee brace can help stop the pain so you can be active again. And after we work with Medicare to get you approved, you can get our high-quality pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Call the Health Alert Hotline right now for free shipping and to learn more. 800-296-1257. 800-296-1257. That's 800-296-1257.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. And new topic for this next section of the show. Thanks for sticking with me through the break. This is something I picked up off of Facebook, and I thought it was a very good idea, and I wanted to share it with you. And it shows a picture of Ivanka and of Chelsea, and it asks the question, why is it that every time the media talks to Ivanka, they ask her how she feels about the way her father treats women? But when the media talks to Chelsea, they never ask her how she feels about the way her father treats women. Think about it, folks. Is that one of the best examples of media hypocrisy, media bias ever? I think that's a great one. And it shows exactly how corrupt and useless our media are. But let's talk about more things. And recently, in the news, there's been a lot of discussion about a for-profit university that was allowing unqualified students to follow courses, but charging them lots of money for that. And, of course, this university was closely related to a candidate for the White House, bringing large sums of money into their family. But no, I'm not talking about Trump University. I'm talking about the Laureate University. I'm sure some of you have heard about it. But this was a for-profit university whose honorary dean or whatever, but anyway, the head of it, titular head, right? So somebody just having a title, a figurehead, nothing more probably, was Slick Willie. Exactly related. I said it was related to a candidate for the White House, but not the one you were thinking of, but Hill Liar herself. Now, Slick Willie was the honorary head. Now, honorary normally means, sort of pro bono, etc. No, this was not a very honorary head at all, because apparently he received over $16 million for his position. The stories of bilked students are even worse than anything we hear about Trump University. At least quite a large number, a much larger number of satisfied students over bilked students in Trump U. But at Laureate University, it seems the numbers of bilked students were much, much higher. Are we going to hear about this a lot? Well, no. The lamestream media is going to sit on this one. Of course, sweep it under the Hillary Clinton rug. There's no way they're going to allow us to hear about it, and especially because the Laureate University mainly operated abroad. South America, Europe, Southern Europe, where there's a lot of poor people. As I said, bilking poor people out of their money. And this from regressives who are supposedly in favor of poor people, right? Take from the rich to give to the poor. No, they were taking from the poor to give to the rich. Now, of course, with the Clinton at their head, who cares about laws? And laws were broken because in some countries, for-profit education is against the law. But as I said, with the Clinton at its head, the Laureate University didn't have to care about laws, right? They don't apply to Clinton enterprises for some reason. Now, surprise, surprise, as soon as this news surfaced this week, Slick Willie abruptly resigned his position. But you know what? Too late. Caught you with your fingers in the cookie jar, boyo. And this is going to rub off on you, and this is going to rub off on that harpy of a wife of yours. But, let me say, there's still more. And the Clinton Cash book has come out last month, been out for a while now. But you know what? Some of the things alleged in the book have actually been confirmed by lamestream media outlets. And so there was a little posting on the internet which basically listed some of these things and the details. I'm not going to go through all the details, but I want to tell you some of these things that are in the Clinton Cash book. Go out and find it. Clinton Cash shows you all the awful things that have been going on, all the corruption, all the unbelievable crap. So let's just quickly list down them. The Clinton Foundation hid a $2.35 million foreign donation from the head of the Russian government's uranium company that had business before Hillary Clinton's State Department, because they were trying to buy into the U.S. uranium mining. And she was supposed to tell the Obama regime about anything like that. Another confirmation by the lamestream media. This was described in detail in the book, but the lamestream media do exactly confirm what was said. Bill Clinton bagged $500,000 for a speech in Moscow, which was paid for by a Kremlin-linked bank. So why was Bill Clinton taking any money from a bank linked to the Kremlin while his wife was Secretary of State? Asked the New York Times. Yes, a liberal publication. Was the New York Slimes or the Washington Compost? One of the two. Confirmed. Hillary's brother, now we're looking at the other side of the family, sits on the board of a mining company that scored an extremely rare gold exploitation permit in Haiti, or Haiti as a lot of people say, as Hillary and Bill Clinton disbursed billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars in Haiti. According to the Washington Compost, Rodham's mining company won one of the first 2 gold mining permits the Haitian government has issued in more than 50 years. Any connection to all that U.S. taxpayer money coming in? I bet it was. Confirmed. Hillary's foundation hid a foreign donation of 200 million shares of stock by a mining executive who also had business before Hillary's State Department. About 2 months later, the U.S. ambassador to Bangladesh pushed the energy advisor to that nation's prime minister to allow open-pit mining, including in certain miles, where the person who donated the $2 million of stock wanted to be involved. Corruption, corruption, corruption. And yes, there's more, right? Approval of the Russian takeover of the uranium mining company transferred 20% of all U.S. uranium to the control of the Russian government. And around that same time, lots of Russian money coming into the Clinton Foundation. Confirmed, Bill Clinton was paid by a for-profit education company, Laureate, while the company benefited from an increase in funding from the State Department. So we already talked about this Laureate company scamming lots of poor people, but on top of that, they were also getting money from the State Department. Bloomberg's examination confirms that in 2009, the year before Bill Clinton joined Laureate, the nonprofit received 11 grants worth $9 million. In 2012, the foundation received 21 grants worth $25.5 million. So that is it's about 3-4 years later, including a direct grant from the State Department, which was led by his wife. Corruption, corruption, corruption. More corruption. The Clinton Foundation has been forced to refile at least 5 years of annual tax returns and may audit other returns because they're wrong. Another confirmation from the lamestream media. At least $26 million of Clinton's wealth comes from speaking fees by companies and organizations that are also major Clinton Foundation donors. Well, the Clintons are siphoning off money from the foundation anyway. None of it goes, or very little part of it goes to charities. So it doesn't matter if they get it direct or via the foundation. Another confirmation. Bill Clinton delivered numerous speeches paid for by individuals and corporations with pending business before the State Department. ABC News, again, not your typical right-wing thing, confirming that. And Bill Clinton lied about hosting a meeting with Kazakh nuclear officials at Clinton's home in Chappaqua. And the New York Times, again, not your usual right-wing outlet. When I first contacted the Clinton Foundation, Mr. Clinton's spokesman, they denied such a meeting ever took place, said Becker, who's a very renominated journalist of the New York Slimes. Well, how can any journalist there? But whatever. And then we told them, well, we've already talked to the head of Kazatomprom, who not only told us about the meeting, but actually has a picture of him and Bill at the home in Chappaqua. And he proudly displayed it on his office wall. And then they had to acknowledge, yes, the meeting had taken place. So they're trying to deny it. Lies, corruption. This Clinton cash book, we need to resurrect it in the last few months before November. Trump is starting to do it, but we need to get the message out and let folks know just how corrupt the Clinton family is. Okay, folks, time for I'm late for my commercial again, so we're going to run the commercial here, and then after the commercial, one more thing about Hillary, and then we'll have some music and we'll have some good news. But I want to let you know something about Hillary. Yet another reason not to vote for Hillary. Talk to you shortly.
Patriot come lately. British by birth. American by choice. Just like the Founding Fathers. The voice of the conservative resistance.
Every day, millions of Americans grow more concerned about the future of our great nation. The truth is, over the last century, a small but powerful collectivist movement known as progressivism has debased our politics, our culture, and our currency. We're just a small step from falling into 1,000 years of darkness, as Ronald Reagan warned. Friend, this is Pat Boone with an important free offer on a hot new book called The Great Withdrawal by Craig Smith and Lowell Ponte. This new book explains how we, the people, can end this fatal detour into big government and get back on the path of faith and freedom charted by our founders. Call now for a free copy of the hot new book called The Great Withdrawal.
Call now for your free copy. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. That's 800-978-3901.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS that you can't pay? Call now for immediate help. At the Tax Relief Line, we help people just like you. If you take on the IRS alone, you could be facing levies, liens, even wage garnishments, personal or business tax issues. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call now and see if you can pay less. They can freeze your bank accounts, even garnish your wages. Call the Tax Relief Line now for immediate help. Our expert team of tax professionals will negotiate your tax problem and deal with the IRS for you. If the IRS is threatening you with levies, wage garnishments, or seizing your assets, call now and see if you can pay the IRS less.
888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043.
This is Patriot Come Lately Talk Radio, keeping the spirit of America alive. Proud member of the Red State Talk Radio Network. And folks, thanks. We're into the final half of the show, or a little bit past the final half. Before we do anything else, I do want to give you just one more reason to go out and convince your friends, enemies, acquaintances, whatever, that you really can't trust Hillary and we should not vote for Hillary. And Just listen to this. This was recorded at a meeting at which people were told they were not allowed to record, but somebody surreptitiously did record it, and I bet they're glad they did, and the Clinton campaign is going to have a hard time with this. But basically it shows you how much dear Hill Liar likes the Second Amendment.
So I'm going to speak out. I'm going to do everything I can to rally people against this pernicious, corrupting influence of the NRA. And we're going to do whatever we can. I was proud when my husband took them out, and we were able to ban assault weapons, but he had to put a sunset on. So 10 years later, of course, was willing to agree to reinstate them. We've got to go after this. And here again, the Supreme Court is wrong on the Second Amendment. And I am going to make that case every chance I get. So I will need your help on that.
Listen to that, folks. The Supreme Court is wrong on the Second Amendment. We are in trouble if she gets back into power, folks. We have to do everything we can to stop the Wicked Witch. Please, please, help me, help yourself, help America. Do everything we can to make sure she doesn't get re-elected. I promise you some music, and after the music we'll have a nice piece of good news. But I'm gonna play some music, and really after what Hillary just said, there's only one song that I can play. You've heard it before if you've been listening to the show, but I think this is the perfect one. It's called "Come and Take It."
Deep in the heart of Texas, back in 1835, they drew a line in the sand. The folks at Gonzales had freedom on their minds. It was all because of a cannon that had kept their colony safe. But then General Santa Anna sent some Mexican troops to take the big gun away. You know what those colonists said? Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but we'll warn you, you'll have to pry it from our cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it one shot at a time. Well, that started a revolution that no one could put down. Like a wildfire for freedom, it's burning even now. You see, even if you got an army, when all is said and done, you just don't mess with Texas, especially when it comes to guns. The Mexicans went home without that cannon. Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but we'll warn you, you'll have to pry it from our cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it one shot at a time. Now I know the Constitution, and it gives me certain rights that I will never ever give up, at least not without a fight. So if anybody's even thinking they're gonna take my guns away, like the good old boys down in Gonzales, I got one thing to say: come on, make my day. Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but I warn you, you'll have to pry it from our cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it one shot at a time.
Yeah, folks, Steve Voss with Come and Take It. And like I said, with that little snippet from Hillary, that secret recording, hopefully we won't need that song, because hopefully she's not going to get into power and she's going to be stymied yet again like she was 8 years ago. Okay. I think it's time for another topic. And this time, while we've had a lot of blood-boiling topics over the last 2-3 weeks, I wanted to bring something of good news. And this was a mom and a teen exchanging texts after something that he did. And I saw this and I thought, yes, I want to share this with my readers because it is a very positive thing. Tommy O'Connor of Fremont, California, was walking across the street from school to a 7-Eleven. He wanted to get a soda because he didn't have enough money to buy lunch. And then he came across a wallet full of cash. He didn't even stop to count the money. He raced back into the school and handed it over to a teacher's aide, who made sure the wallet and the $2,300 inside of it saw its way home to its rightful owner. Now think about it. This guy was going across the street to get a soda because he couldn't afford the school lunch. He picks up a wallet full of cash. He doesn't even touch any of the cash. Tommy said, I thought it was probably someone's rent or something. And even though his own family lives day to day on a fixed income, he never even considered keeping it. So Tommy's mother, Sherry, heard about what her son had done, and she immediately sent him a text. I'm very proud of you, son. Miss Calra called me. Wow, you're 1 in a million. Love you to the moon and back, she wrote in the message. But it was what he wrote back that broke her up and was even, this was the good part about it. So here's a son who did something very good. What could he do more? Well, when you hear what he texts back, you'll think, that is one hell of a son. And yes, he is 1 in a million. Because what he texted back was, you should be thanking yourself as you raised me. Amazing. Now, also glad to report the veteran who lost the money was very happy to get it back. He gave Tommy $50 as a reward for finding the wallet and praised the young man for his honesty and integrity. And it isn't just his honesty and integrity, but just the nice thing he said to his mother. It shows us, with all these blood-boiling things going on, there is still hope for the future. Teens like Tommy prove it. Okay, folks, time for our last commercial break, and I'll be back soon.
The offer of a franchise can only be made through delivery of a franchise disclosure document. Imagine yourself being a leader in America's fastest-growing demographic category. More than 10,000 people a day turn 65, and a large percentage are going to need a helping hand at home or in choosing the right assisted living community. Always Best Care is looking for people who've excelled at everything they've done, but they're seeking a new challenge. Always Best Care is one of the fastest-growing companies in this explosive field. We're looking for 25 new franchisees to keep our booming business growing. We'll back you up with the strongest award-winning marketing program in the industry, and we'll provide the special training and support that's fueled our growth to prepare you for this great opportunity. All that's missing is you. Call Always Best Care toll-free at 1-800-643-7508. That's 1-800-643-7508. For Always Best Care, 1-800-643-7508. Call today.
Are you worried about losing your home to foreclosure? If you've been threatened with foreclosure or received legal papers from your bank, you have approximately 30 days to respond. If you do not respond, you could lose your home. You have rights. Act now to protect your rights. You can stay in your home. Many times you can even modify your loan. The bottom line is you can get past this, but you must act right now. Call National Foreclosure Defense right now at 800-296-3006, 800-296-3006. If you've been served by your bank and you're worried about losing your home to foreclosure, now is the time to fight back and save your home. Time is limited, so call right now. 800-296-3006, 800-296-3006. Call the professionals at National Foreclosure Defense right now. 800-296-3006.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. And folks, we're into the final segment of the show. Hope you liked that last piece. Rex in the chat room mentioned there are good Americans in this country. There are a lot of good Americans. It's just unfortunate that the evil, bad Americans have so much power up there in Washington. We need to take our country back, and I'm hopeful that maybe we will this time. Just a reminder to folks, that as I'm chatting with Rex in the chat room there and seeing what he's writing, you can do that too if you listen live. Join me at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, and all the time zones, whatever time it is in between that. On a Tuesday evening, in the Spreaker box, click on the little chat icon there and you can join in with the chat. If you are listening to any of the rebroadcasts, and I have a lot of syndication, so it's many different channels now where you can get recordings of the show, then you can still give me feedback, send me questions, send me comments, but obviously not live. You have to do that through email. Do that at Stefan at patrickcomelately.us. Otherwise it gets lost in the spam filters. And if you don't want to do it via email, you can also go to the website. And I have a new website, so I would encourage listeners, please go take a look and give me some feedback on what you think of the new website. It's still the same address, but it's been completely revamped and a lot of, lot more room to put interesting things, which I hope to grow over the next few weeks. You can get to it at www.patrickcomelately.us. So like I said, and you can also use that to send me a message via a contact form. Now, to finish off tonight's show, I want to try and squeeze in some things. And last week talked about Trey Gowdy deciding not to get on the Never Trump train and actually saying that he will support Trump, which is a good thing. But also, of course, he's been leading the Benghazi Committee, or what is it? The Select Committee to investigate Benghazi, or whatever it's officially called. Anyway, it's been going on forever and ever and ever, and over 2 years, but it looks like they're finally coming up with a report. Now, apparently, all of a sudden, he got a letter from Representative Elijah Cummings of Georgia, I'm sorry to say. I believe it's Georgia. Anyway, he expressed a wish to be involved with the drafting of the report. Well, here's the reply. Now, I'm not going to read the whole letter because it's about 3 or 4 or 5 pages, but there were some key paragraphs that I think I really wanted to share with my listeners. So, starts off, Dear Ranking Member Cummings, your May 31st letter was mildly amusing, but not altogether surprising. It is mildly amusing that after 2 years of abject obstruction, after 2 years of not lifting a finger to assist the majority with the investigation, after 2 years of doing everything in your power to prevent a report from being written, you now want to participate in the drafting of the report. Any reasonable observer would conclude you want to work on the report solely so you can leak and mischaracterize the new facts you now acknowledge have been found as a result of our investigation. That is what you have habitually done in the past. Gowdy's talking about the leaking and mischaracterization, which is precisely why you are currently able to read the recent transcripts of witness interviews, but do not possess them. You have become a serial leaker of information. And he goes on to list a whole bunch of them in the letter. Let me just take the section where he lists some of them. To refresh your recollection of just a few examples, the minority selectively leaked and trumpeted a partisan attack by a Pentagon political appointee, despite knowing the letter had a plethora of factual inaccuracies. You misrepresented comments made by the majority members of the committee, while ignoring the fact a partisan political group allied with you had debunked your distortions, or even the left were saying that you were lying. You falsely described a Facebook post by an individual who identified himself as a member of the military called in to work on the night of the attacks. You claimed on February 13, 2015, the State Department completed its production to the Select Committee of Secretary Clinton's emails relating to the Benghazi attacks. But the State Department actually did not turn over the majority of her relevant emails until September of 2015, 7 months later. You selectively leaked the official transcript of the committee's interview with Cheryl Mills and stated your unequivocal intention to further selectively leak a slew of interview transcripts, which is why you do not have possession of recent transcripts, but do have access to them. You even refused the majority's offer to restore your possession of transcripts if you agreed not to selectively leak them before the committee's work is complete. It is telling that when questioned by the Washington Post, your staff did not deny strategic coordination with the campaign. Folks, this just shows you how corrupt Washington is. Well, have to stop there. I see we've reached the end of the show almost. It's been fun again, folks. Come back next week. More blood-boiling topics probably based on what the Regressives are doing all the time. And, of course, now we're getting close to the conventions. Be interesting to see what happens there. Okay, folks. Time to say goodbye. TTFN. See you next week. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's topics. Whether you listened live, to a recording, or to a rebroadcast, I appreciate the time you share with me. We need to spread the message of liberty far and wide, so please tell your friends and family about the show. Thank you for helping to keep the beacon of hope burning. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, signing off. God bless America, and remember, L3, long live liberty.